Hey guys, Jason here for TCG Alerts, coming out of the woodwork as Bitcoin decides that it is no longer going to be the new stable coin. So we saw for the last couple weeks Bitcoin locked in this 4-hour channel and just not really doing much of anything. Finally we saw some downside action, and then this morning, as I was planning to do the video, we started to take off a little bit more. And now the bulls are having a little bit of fun. So let's take a look at a few different coins and check out some alerts, how we could have played this. And we're going to start with Bitcoin, the most recent breakout on the 15-minute time frame. So this is BTC USD on Coinbase. And one of the things that Dan has been talking about in his videos, and we've been talking about in our chat room, is that even though Bitcoin is going sideways, there is still a lot of volume being pushed around, which really suggests that there's a lot of accumulation. So when you get big volume spikes like this that are triggering our abnormal volume without big changes in price direction, that really says that there's a lot of support and there's a lot of accumulation, because people are buying the shares, but they're buying it at a fixed price and the price isn't moving up or down, meaning people aren't hitting the ask or dumping into the bid. And if they are dumping into the bid, which it looks like here, there is support there and there are people who are willing to accumulate and buy at that level. So this has been happening in mass for last couple weeks at the very least, and likely longer than that. But given the slow nature of Bitcoin and its relative stability over the last couple weeks, it's been a lot easier to see that sort of thing in action. So I think what happened today was sort of the break in that, where we saw our dumps into the bid on our abnormal volumes, are hitting the asks on abnormal volumes, and then finally we broke down. We saw a new low for the 4-hour time frame right around 6,200, and we got that on our oversold indicator. So that was our first indication that something quick and crazy was happening this morning. We saw that price drop really quickly, and then almost immediately we have a V-shaped recovery. Bulls buy almost everything that they can and they drive this price right up, and we get this overbought indicator fires at $6,352. Our high of our candlestick was $6,353, so $1 off before we pull back. And that abnormal volume, let's zoom in on that, see if we can get a better look at it. Yeah, our abnormal volume and our overbought indicators both triggered right around the same time, within $1 of that peak before pulling back. So if you're looking for an exit signal and you happen to jump in on this dip, you could not have asked for a better one on Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame. The other cool thing I wanted to show was our potential equilibrium alert. So this is one we haven't talked a lot about, but we rolled it out a few weeks ago, and it caught this nice equilibrium that formed on the 30-minute time frame. So if you're not familiar with equilibriums, it's essentially telling you that there's been a big push in one direction, and then imagine a bouncing ball or an elastic. The price bounces and it slowly loses momentum until a point where you have an equilibrium, where there's that sense of balance. So the potential equilibrium alert is just trying to find the sense of balance. And what it's looking for is when you have lows, lower highs, higher lows, lower highs, and the range is tightening. Ultimately, we get this on the 30-minute time frame. And if we have our low at 6,240, and ultimately you break it 6,241, if we go back to our 15-minute time frame, we can see that's right where our oversold indicator went off and right where volume starts to come in even heavier. And this is really when the volume starts to surge on this breakdown. So the loss of equilibrium resulted, at least in part, into the initial drop and V-shaped recovery. So how could you have caught this early? The very first signal, this potential equilibrium alert. And this is on all coins with volume-based data. So if you haven't subscribed to the potential equilibrium alert, it's included on the premium package for all of you guys. Take a look at those. They're rare, but they're very effective, and they let you know that you need to take a closer look at what's going on a specific time frame. So let's jump back to the 15-minute interval and Bitcoin, and I want to go back a little bit to talk about the big drop that we had on the 29th. So, well, 2 days ago. So because of the range was so tight on this 15-minute time frame and on the overall 4-hour time frame, you can see that we're getting into a lot of these situations where this abnormal volume is kicking off. And again, that is in part due to the fact that we believe that there are large-scale accumulations occurring, but also because when you have relatively stable range, any big changes in range any big changes in the range of volume is going to trigger that alert. Similarly, when you have a tight range, the smaller the move will be required to start tripping your overbought and oversold indicators. So this is why on this initial break, we see multiple abnormal volumes, and then we see an oversold volume on the 15-minute time frame, and then another one, and then finally another one. And here we are on the Bitcoin USD 4-hour time frame. And I wanted to show you this particular oversold indicator because it really caught the first bottom, the first extreme push down by the bears before we saw that initial bounce. So this tripped at 6,278. If we jump back to our 15-minute time frame, we can see that our initial push down was to 6,273 and change. So very, very close to that initial bottom. Very, very oversold. And that's how we play these oversold indicators. It's not necessarily going to tell you that we are absolutely going to pull back from this level, but it's going to tell you that you're oversold, very oversold. And the 4-hour time frame very rarely trips those oversold indicators. So we saw a huge breakdown. We saw a 4-hour oversold indicator fire right about here and a big bounce back up. So let's go take a look at a couple more coins while the ball's rolling here. Let's look at LTCUSD on the 50-minute time frame. This is Coinbase as well. Very similar, where we're seeing these relatively small moves in volume that are tripping abnormal volume calculations. And then we get a big abnormal volume alert. Price dumps down. We get oversold on the 15-minute time frame, V-shaped recovery into a price shear, into current consolidation. Like Bitcoin, we had a 4-hour potential equilibrium alert on Litecoin. So we had a big push down, our lower high, higher low, lower high, higher low. And then eventually we break this level of, let's see here, our low of 51.16. Volume picks up, we crash down. If we go to the 15-minute, we can see that oversold indicator firing. So really, really good unity on these alerts, very good flow. Really the way you want to stack these alerts. And the last one I want to talk about, EOS USDT on the 15-minute time frame. Here we see these small surges in volume. And what's really key is we get this 15-minute potential equilibrium. We break that equilibrium level, volume starts to pick up, and then the bulls answer back. Abnormal volume, pushing up, 15-minute overbought, absolutely perfect. So I'll continue to monitor these coins for the foreseeable future. I'm not going anywhere, that's for sure. I absolutely love crypto, and love talking about crypto if you haven't noticed. But keep an eye on these coins. If we're getting even into small periods of volatility, your abnormal volumes and your overbought, oversold indicators are absolutely essential for you to be using. I also encourage you to start using these potential equilibrium alerts. Very, very valuable. So thanks again for listening. We're still working on more alerts and more cool stuff behind the scenes. I appreciate your support, and I hope that the volatility and all the fun starts to come pouring back into crypto. Let's see what happens.